What's up, good people? This is the Fantasy Football KE, and as usual, I am your boy. I am your host, kama kawaida, Papa D, Papa Dero, Papa Disaster. And today, I want to give you a quick recap of the WSL. I want to bring you up to speed with what is happening in the women's division and what is happening in the England's top flight women's division. Yeah, so let me first of all give you a little heads up because the WSL started out 2 weeks ago. Yeah, this is actually the third game they just played out last week out, and so the WSL started 2 weeks ago, and 3 game weeks in. How are you looking at? Let me put you into perspective of how things are standing up in the WSL table. Yeah, so as I told you, the WSL started out on the weekend of September 21st. Arsenal hosting Manchester City at the Emirates that played out to a 2-2 draw. Then Chelsea themselves were playing out on a Friday night to actually open the night of the WSL, to actually open the season. So Chelsea won 1-0 against Aston Villa, courtesy of Johanna Writing Kane right goal. And then we had Manchester United playing against West Ham at Old Trafford, thumping the Hammers 3-0, courtesy of goals from JC Ferreira, Grace Clinton, and the last one by Leah Galton. Yeah. And then last but not the least, sorry, not last but not the least, we still have a couple of other games to go because Tottenham Hotspur won 4-0 against Crystal Palace. Maite Oro scoring, Hayley Russell scoring, Jed Spence getting on the score sheet as well. Yeah, and then the other game week we had Bournemouth thrashing. Sorry, not Bournemouth, Brighton and Hove Albion thrashing Everton by 4 goals to nil, courtesy of a hat trick from the one and only new signing Japanese Kike Seiko. Yeah, that name sometimes it gets me a little bit hard to pronounce. Yeah, so that is how the WSL opened up on match day one, and then on match day two we had Arsenal playing in Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. Remember, Leicester City, they are playing their home games this season at the main stadium, at the King Power Stadium. So Arsenal had a narrow win against Leicester City take it to take the game 1-0, courtesy of Frida Manam goal. And then Chelsea absolutely hammered and baptized Crystal Palace by fire, beating them 7-0. Yeah, there are a couple of goals there. We had Guru Wrighton getting a brace. Then we had Aggie Beaver Jones getting on the score sheet as well. We had Lucy Browns getting in on the goals as well. Yeah. So a couple of goals there from Chelsea, a couple of goal scorers as well. Yeah. So Chelsea hammered Crystal Palace 7-0. Yeah. And then Manchester City won 1-0 against Brighton at home at the Joy Stadium, beating them 1-0 courtesy of a Barney Shaw goal. And in the other match, we had Liverpool drawing 1-1 against West Ham, in a match that was fueled by a lot of controversial decisions there on the pitch. Yeah, the VAR kind of disappointing. The lack of VAR in the women's division is proving to be quite a stumbling block. Yeah. So that is how things happened out on match day two. Yeah, and also we had Brighton going out to a 2-2 draw against, whom are they playing against by the way? Sorry. I need to remind myself because it's been quite a couple of weeks. The WSL started out with a plum. Things were looking out so good. Yeah. So Brighton played out to a 2-2 draw. Played out to a 2-2 draw against. Let me check it. Let me check the results for you. Let me confirm everything. I don't wanna give you stories. I don't wanna tell you things that are not actually there. Yeah, yeah. So Brighton were playing. They were playing against. They were playing against Okay, before I tell you who Brighton were playing against, let me just give you a quick recap of how the WSL currently stands, the WSL table. On the top of the table, after 3 games played, we have Manchester City with 7 points, courtesy of 2 wins and 1 draw. Then we have Chelsea coming in second, despite playing less games with 2 games. They've won all of their games, as I told you before, with 6 points and a goal difference of +8. Yeah. Then we have Brighton in coming in third, with 6 points, having lost 1 game, won 2 games. Yeah. Then Manchester United, they have also played 1 game less. They are fourth, having played 2 games with 6 points, having won all of their 2 games. Manchester United on game week 2, they beat Everton 1-0. Yeah, they beat Everton 1-0, courtesy of a former Toffee midfielder Grace Clinton, scoring for Manchester United the only goal of the game. Yeah, Liverpool are fifth with 5 points, courtesy of 2 draws and a win, having beaten Tottenham Hotspur in their latest game week, beating them 3-2, courtesy of Mari Hobinga brace and a Kaposk goal. Yeah, Arsenal are coming in sixth with 5 points as well, having drawn 2 games and won one. Yeah, Arsenal, in their latest game, they drew nil-nil at home at the Emirates against Everton. And remember, Arsenal are playing all of their WSL games at the Emirates. I think only 3 games will be played in the Kings Meadow. Sorry, not Kings Meadow, but Meadow Park. Kings Meadow is Chelsea's home ground. Yeah. So Arsenal will be playing 8 games at the Emirates, with 3 games coming being played at the Meadow Park, while the rest of their cup games, the FA and the League Cup, will be played at Meadow Park. Yeah. Then Tottenham Hotspur are coming in at seventh with 4 points. Having played 3 games, they've lost one, they've won one, and they've drawn one. Yeah. So Crystal Palace are eighth with 3 points, having played 3 games, having won one. Their first win of the season came in against Leicester City, courtesy of a brace from Blanchard, to give the Eagles a 2-0 win away from home, against Leicester City. Aston Villa are ninth with 1 point as well, having drawn out their game. They earned their first point after a 2-2 draw in the previous game on game week 2. Yeah. Their last game they lost 4-2 against Brighton, in a game whereby they twice came back to take the lead, but they were ultimately pegged back and ultimately went on to lose the match. Yeah. Leicester City, as I was telling you about, they only have 1 point after 3 games and they are 10th. And West Ham United also 1 point after 3 games, mm, coming out at 11th, and as well as Everton coming out at 12th, the last position in the league. 1 point apiece. There's actually Aston Villa, Leicester City, West Ham United, and Everton. All of them have 1 point, after 3 games. So there's pretty not much of a difference there, and the only difference between them and Crystal Palace is 2 points, and the difference between them and sixth place Arsenal is, sorry, and even fifth place Liverpool. The difference between Everton and fifth place Liverpool is just a mere 4 points. Yeah, which is basically, as I'm telling you, it's only in the beginning of the match. So before we go too much long, I want to give you a recap of how the game week 3 happened in the WSL. As I told you before, Manchester United and Chelsea were not playing, yeah, because of Chelsea's involvement in the Champions League, and the Champions League beginning out this week. So Chelsea and Manchester United, the game of the weekend that was scheduled to play on game week 3, it was postponed so that to allow Chelsea to have a bit of time for preparation, as well as to get themselves ready for the new Champions League season. This time out, 3 English teams are playing out in the Champions League. We have Arsenal, we have Manchester City, and then we have the aforementioned Chelsea. Yeah. So, I know some of you will be kind of asking questions why the other teams were not allowed, were not given the same treatment as Chelsea got by being given an extra day to prepare for the Champions League. That is Manchester City and Arsenal, because Manchester City will be hosting Barcelona tonight. Sorry. Manchester City will be hosting Barcelona tonight. Yeah, while Arsenal will be traveling to face Bayern Munich as well in the early kick of the Champions League. The Arsenal match will be starting it at 19:45 hours. That is 7:45 East African time, Arabic Standard Time, and 5:45 on the English shows. Yeah, while Manchester City they will be playing in at 10 o'clock, 2200 hours, or 8 o'clock if you are in the UK. Yeah. So, without much further ado, let me take you right straight away into game week 3. Let me give you a recap of how game week 3 happened. And it is definitely going to be proving out to be a very very good season. And teams are getting prepared. We've so far Brighton are pulling a surprises on a couple of people, and it's not actually a surprise because if you looked at the way Brighton signed, the way they prepared their players, it's not actually much of a surprise. Yeah, because they really did a good job on the transfer, getting the likes of Nikita Paris, very very experienced players, the likes of Frank Kirby, and the likes of very very good young prospects in the likes of Kiko Seike, and then also we have Michel Agyeman from on loan from Arsenal. Yeah, so let me brief you up with how things looked at on the WSL in game week 3, and this the the weekend opened up with Liverpool taking a trip to North London. Liverpool taking a trip to North London to face Tottenham Hotspurs. Yeah. So this is how things were looking at in North London.
Well, Tottenham have named the same side in every league game this season, and today is no exception. They are unchanged once more, with Martha Thomas continuing ahead of Bethany England up front. Liverpool make 2 changes from their last WSL game. Kerry Holland is out with a foot injury, and Jenna Clark, who has a tight calf, only makes the bench. So there's a first league start for summer arrival Cornelia Koppox, with Sophia Lundgaard also coming in. This is just the third game of the season. Win and a draw for Tottenham, 2 draws for Liverpool.
As you can see so far, the stakes are high. We have big matchups coming on. The WSL is only a 12 team competition, with each team getting to play 22 games. And from early on, based on the way the weekend was supposed to be, so it'll have been a good game.
Back, and it has really been a season of frustration so far as Koppox goes for goal. Oh, and this is brilliant!
Oh, Liverpool took the lead there, courtesy
What a stunner! What equalisation! What a smile on the face of Matt Pearce, because it's genius! And Liverpool lead at Tottenham. Unbelievable finish, and it comes from Tottenham. See Becky Spencer, he wants to play out, doesn't get enough heart on him, but Koppox there takes a touch, just dings it just over the top of Becky Spencer as well. It's a calm, composed finish. To be able to spot that and to then have the confidence to do that strike too. Fantastic finish.
It is something that you'd marvel. I know Matt Beard is very very excited for that one. Yeah. So Liverpool taking the lead, obviously a Koppox debutant. He is scoring her debut WSL then on her debut.
Here you go Liverpool. Smith. Went for goal.
Sophia Smith there with an early chance.
Not too far away at all. My word, didn't she hit that powerfully? One thought in her mind for Liverpool's record signing. Olivia Smith, she's so direct. She fancied her chances there.
The former Sporting Lisbon winger almost hands Liverpool
Here goes Rasso.
doubles their lead, but the keeper pulls in a great save to intercept that.
That's a very good ball. Olivia Smith.
At halftime, and
he's down by Bartrip.
Second half looking just as sharp.
Beaten away by Becky Spencer.
After a couple of moments there,
Liverpool corner.
made some savings.
I think she thought, and I think Tottenham thought that she was offside.
She was very, very lively in the game. She looked, from the early signs, she looks like a very, very good signing for Liverpool. And
I would be very, very excited to keep up and see what he can do.
Fiercely across and towards goal off the line and by the post and by Jesnaz away to safety. That was a big touch there. To me, it looked like it was going in. I think it was Nilden who has that all-important touch to flick it onto the post. Nilden does really well to drop in on the line. Razzo. Suddenly a bit of space for Tottenham. What else?
But Tottenham came alive in the second half.
Naz on the move.
With Jessica Naz, role being some prominent form.
Taking on Evans.
And Jessica Naz there, pushing the long game from Liverpool's captain, Taylor Hines.
Equaliser for Tottenham.
The game for Tottenham.
And he knows again they've been picked back after failing to take chances. He knows again it's an individual error. The both things he spoke about before this game appeared, and again it's cost Liverpool. Tottenham won, Liverpool won. Jessica Naz just put the ball into an area and set the high there. Her foot doesn't really get good. She puts her foot out of it, and it's a difficult one because the defender. I've been there before and I put the ball in my own net before by doing exactly that. It's disappointing from Liverpool, but really good play from Tottenham. Herbinger. It's a brilliant ball to Roman Haag. Defended by Barstrip, and then strong challenge on Olivia Smith. And Claire Hunt's turn to go into the book. Claire Hunt seems a little bit frustrated there with that decision.
Thomas,
I mean, she gets the ball, but obviously that is after the initial contact with Smith. Perfect position this. For Marie Herbinger.
Adding a free kick and upset the Norwegian international Marie Herbinger, and 2 seconds later,
Marie Herbinger. Well, every time they found the net this afternoon, it has been a moment of pure quality. That Herbinger said, listen, I'll step up and I'll show you how it's done. Beautifully curled, up and over the wall. Ben Spencer at full stretch was not able to get there.
A very, very good goal.
Against them on a play completely.
It was a good goal. I mean, this was so good.
Here comes on.
Just now, they are proving to be quite a handful for Liverpool. Yeah, the former Arsenal Academy graduate. Actually, she's a former Spurs graduate. She only played for Arsenal in I think 1 year. Yeah. So just Canals, the Spurs graduate, proving to be quite a handful for Liverpool. Tottenham actually really brought the game to Liverpool in the second half. They were coming for that equalizer. They really were coming for it. Yeah. So as you can see, Spurs forcing another own goal there. Martha Thomas this time with the cross, and Gemma Bonner putting it in her own net. Such an unfortunate event for Liverpool. 2 own goals and 2 very unfortunate own goals. But the pressure was just too much. Martha Thomas there with a good turn, and Gemma Bonner once again her position not in the right of positions. And the own goal and does Liverpool once more. But Liverpool being themselves, they came back into the match. They continued plowing the pressure. They continued adding up the pressure. And Marie Herbinger there looking to find Sophie Roman Haug, but Roman Haug was fouled in the box. And Liverpool earned themselves a penalty. Yeah, deep in stoppage time, Liverpool earned themselves a penalty, and I know Spurs were disappointed. I mean, conceding a penalty right at the death, it really is disappointing. Yeah. So how it looks like now, Mary Herbinger stepping up to the plate, and she dispatches it, putting it on the bottom right hand corner to beat Spencer and give Liverpool the win. Essentially, that was giving Liverpool the win because, given the way the game was, the timing of the match, and everything, a very well dispatched penalty. It lacked a bit of power, but it had the best direction in it, and Spencer could not react quickest to it, and Liverpool claw it out to make it 3-2. Yeah. Despite some late drama, Liverpool really earned themselves the time, and they earned their first win. Having previously been pegged back in a couple of games, they finally were able to maintain their lead and take all the 3 points away to move on to fifth in the table. Yeah. So that was basically how things, and that was reflected in Matt Beard's post match comments after the match. As you can see, he basically was in agreement. Yeah.
Let's be honest. But we weren't, and when you don't take chances, like I said before the game, it allows Tottenham to stay in the game. So, but look, we're showing immense character today, and I'm really proud of it. Obviously, I always have a feeling like, is this really a penalty? Is that a really free kick? And it feels like it's a very, very soft one. But I haven't seen it afterwards. But on the other hand, it's so hard to be a ref, and I'm not going to stand here and blame them. So I'm just going to.
Wilhelm obviously disappointed with the penalty, but all in all, he was impressed with the performance despite the penalty call. Yeah.
West Ham at the Joy Stadium. The citizens boast a dominant record against the Hammers, having won 10 of their previous 11 encounters.
Manchester City were looking to go top of the table with Chelsea not playing. Yeah. And once again, Yamashita was selected in goal ahead of Kiara Keating. I don't know what's going on there with Keating. Maybe she lost her place.
Asai through, takes the deflection, and past Yamashita.
Asai with the opener, but it was wrongly ruled out for offside. To be honest, this one was wrongly ruled out for offside. It was not even close to an offside. Aye, how can this one be an offside? Eh? Looking back at the stills, no way, man, no way.
The referee, it's so close.
Looking back at the time the ball was played out to her, I say was not onside. The women's game is really suffering because of the lack of technology. The lack of technology in the game is really hindering. Last time out on game week 1, we saw it when Arsenal had a goal wrongly ruled out for offside. The Caitlin Ford's goal in the second half was wrongly ruled out for offside against Manchester City. And once again, West Ham, they have a goal wrongly ruled out for offside against Manchester City. What is going on? What is going on in the Premier League? Yo, Nikki Duce, and the rest of the WSL and Women's Premier League, Premier Football Management. You need to get some things in check, because a lot of decisions are going very wrong and they are affecting the game. Because, for instance, as you can see, the game was 0-0. It was 0-0. Manchester City versus West Ham. Early on, West Ham score a good goal and it is ruled out for offside, which is not even an offside in the first place. Sometimes you get to wonder, what are these referees? What kind of decisions are they making? Even and it is in key moments of the game. As I'm telling you, the game was at 0-0. Yeah. So if West Ham score that goal and it is counted, it definitely affects the game. I'm not saying that City will not have won or anything. I'm not saying that maybe West Ham would have won or maybe they would have snuck a draw or something, but it does affect the game because the game is still tied in at 0-0. From there on, City have to play differently. But once again, a wrong decision ends up being the dominating factor of the weekend. And West Ham are denied a clear goal, just like the way Arsenal were denied a clear goal when the game was tied. Yeah. So there needs to be some adjustments. There needs to be improvement in the WSL. We need to have that technology. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we cannot blame the refs every time, because sometimes it's a human error. And the women's game being where it is in terms of its development and progress, there's still a lot to catch up. So, but this random offside goal being ruled out, this random offside calls when Manchester City are playing, no. Once it's it's a fluke. Twice maybe a coincidence. Let's see. By the time the league goes on to an end, let's see what we'll be having. But so far, it seems like Manchester City so far are benefiting from the poor officiating of the referees. Yeah. So a goal ruled out wrongly for offside, and West Ham are denied a clear goal. Yeah.
For Manchester City.
Anyways, so Manchester City were able to get themselves away from that shocker, and they were able to ride the storm early on. And Chloe Kelly finding in Mary Fowler, and Fowler finally finding Lauren Hemp to score her first goal of the season to open the scoring for Manchester City. Yeah.
Calm under pressure.
Lauren Hemp they are benefiting from Fowler. And even it seems like Lauren Hemp was in an offside position when that ball was played out. Yeah. If you go back a few seconds, you'll be able to see that when that pass is played out to Lauren Hemp, she was in an offside position, but it has not been called out. I don't know why. Yet West Ham they had a clear goal denied in the name of a wrong offside call. Yeah. So the game wore on, the game continued with West Ham trying to get themselves back in the game. Katrina Gori there with the cross, but Jonas Dotia could not get in, connect the header to give West Ham the lead. So Manchester City went to the halftime with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of that Lauren Hemp goal. Yeah, and they continue their onslaught in the second half. Vivian Miedema linking up well with Lauren Hemp, and finally Lauren Hemp unleashing a shot that just fizzes off the bar, but could not get in into the net. Wow, that was a good chance. That was a good chance for Manchester City. It really was a good chance. Yeah. And Manchester City kept boring down. They kept bearing down on that Manchester City attack. And Hemp almost could had a chance to double her tally, but her shot was well and well wide over the bar, and she could not take advantage of it. Manchester City continue piling up the pressure on West Ham, and Hemp once again had another chance. I mean, Hemp could have scored a hat trick. What is going on? West Ham they are pulling up a very bad mistake, a wrong pass into the box, and Banishaw capitalizes with it to find Mary Fowler, and she crosses it for Fowler, who heads it home for Manchester City's second. And the citizens taking a 2-0 lead at home against West Ham. Yeah, that pass was poor. That pass back to the goalkeeper, it was very poor. And with someone like Banishaw always lacking in on the fringes of the attack, it is always a risk playing that kind of pass. Yeah, and far Banishaw pulling up to add to her tally this weekend and adding an assist. Yeah, so that was a well taken opportunity for Manchester City, and they continued piling the pressure more and more. Then we had a shot from Wahabi found a shot from Wahabi, and it only fizzes off the bar. Manchester hitting the bar twice. Then we had a late Chloe Kelly free kick just to almost rattle West Ham.
2-0 win. I think we're really happy. We obviously made a few changes before and five, I think, from our previous. Similar feel in the sense of.
As you can see, Gareth Trailer very happy with the win. It's a good way. It's a good way to go into the Champions League week. Having already won your game at the weekend, top of the table. After remember, as I told you, Chelsea were not playing over the weekend. Manchester United were not playing over the weekend, and those were the two sides that had 100% record in their two games, winning all of them too, and just being top of the table. With the only difference coming in the goal scored and the goal difference really. So Gareth Taylor, it ironically, not ironically, but ideally it was a good win for City. A good confidence boost. I know it is West Ham and all, but a win is a win. Going on, it helps out in the it helps out in the ultimate result. Yeah. So Gareth Taylor there, delighted with the win, delighted with the clean sheet. Considering Manchester City have now kept 2 clean sheets, the only game they didn't keep a clean sheet is their opener against Arsenal. Yeah, and that one you cannot really put anything into it because it's open. It's the first day of the season. Anything is possible. Yeah. So Gareth Taylor there, delighted with the win. Yeah. As they look forward to hosting Barcelona in the week. Yeah.
We probably needed just that injection in the second half, making a couple of changes with Bunny and Alba gave us fresh impetus, and straight away Bunny capitalises and creates a really good goal for Mary.
We had a goal disallowed that wasn't offside that would have put us at 1-0.
Yeah, as you can hear, the West Ham manager
At the start of the game,
really disappointed. Yeah, just like every one of us, really disappointed with that decision. Yeah, Rehan Skinner, very disappointed with that decision. And this is something that is, unless it is capped on in the early openings of the season, unless this thing is capped, it is going to continue. And as we've seen it in the Premier League, referee making controversial decisions has been the order of the day. There's no weekend that passes out without referees getting their attention and just trying to bull their way and bring their way into the match, because at some point it does feel like they are trying to influence matches. And now this is the second time that we have an offside goal that is wrongly called out for an offside. We have a goal that is wrongly called out for offside, and yet again it involves Manchester City. I mean, coincidence not? We'll soon find out later.
And ultimately, we're disappointed with the result, and we definitely feel like the two goals are goals that we could have avoided.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, with Manchester City there and the Manchester City West Ham goal, West Ham were actually quite good, despite the barrage that City kept on bringing in their goal. West Ham were good on the counter. They almost caught out the title contenders. But then again, if you add a lot of factors happening and then the individual quality in the team, I mean, looking at that Manchester City team, we have Lauren Hemp, we have Vivian Amidema, we have the Barclays WSL player of the year last time out in Bunny Show. We have Mary Fowler. I mean, it's a plethora of individual talents for the Manchester City team. But again, I have to emphasize on this. We need to curb these wrong decisions as early as possible in the WSL. Otherwise, we risk turning it to another Premier League. A very, very good league, but referees really, really influencing matches and tarnishing the reputation of the Premier League. So there's no need. We don't need to have the WSL also as well, because both of these English leagues, they are very, very competitive. They are very, very, they tend to attract a lot of players because of the competition that you can draw from. You cannot win just any other game anyhowly. So I mean, we need to look at that situation with the officiating. Otherwise, it was a good game out down there in Manchester. Yeah.
Everton have struggled in their opening games of the season, suffering 2 defeats and 2 potentially season-ending injuries. Things didn't get any easier on Sunday when they travelled to the.
On the other side, meanwhile, Arsenal were hosting Merseyside side, Everton. Everton, who themselves having lost their 2 games, losing 4-0 to Brighton on match week 1, and then losing to Manchester United 1-0 on match week 2. So Everton were very, very desperately looking for somewhere where they could get a point. It was not make or break, not yet, but in these early days, it is good, as I'm always saying, it is good to curb the road before it gets on to bad. Remember the WSL, as I told you before, it is a 12-team competition league. You have only 22 games, so if you cannot afford to mess up like 5 games early on, because as soon as you mess it up, it builds out on that momentum, and then ultimately it goes on to screws you up. So Everton already looking like they're not in a bad place exactly, but they're not in a good place either, because they already have two season ending injuries, as you've just had. Aurora Gali out with an ACL injury, and also there's another girl out there with an ACL injury, a key important first team player. Yeah. So Everton going on into the Emirates in those kind of circumstances, given that the way things were in their situation, unajua mko na 2 key injuries in your season. I mean, you've already lost 2 players and you have 2 key injuries, and then again you are going away from home at the Emirates. Another high crowd, another high capacity crowd at the Emirates to cheer on the Arsenal, and let's see how this one unfolded.
To take on unbeaten Arsenal. Watching the game was Ben Andrews.
Another appearance for Daphne Van Donsler, getting in her back-to-back game, the second game in succession after playing out and starring in the narrow win against Leicester. Emily Fox there with an early cross that a deflection puts it on the path of the crossbar, and Everton there getting lucky. Yeah, it was almost a chance for the American international to score her first WSL goal for Arsenal. And really, basically, her first goal for Arsenal. She is yet to score a goal for Arsenal.
Crossing field, very neat, very tidy.
There also another opportunity for Kyra Coney Cross to get in her WSL debut goal, but again, it did not happen for her. Yeah, Arsenal very early on from the get go looking very dominant, and but they just couldn't they couldn't take advantage of their chances. Yeah, Brosnan there pulling up with Brosnan there pulling up with a very almost costly mistake. Yeah, trying to play out from the back, trying to find her defense, but the ball plays out on the path of Alessia Russo, who wins the ball and links up and try to tease up Mariona Caldente, but the World Cup winner unfortunately cannot be able to convert the opportunity, and Brosnan is able to make the save and atone for her mistake. But early on, Arsenal looking very dominant as usual, as you'd expect, more of the ball, but with nothing really to show for it. You know, they had their chances, they really they couldn't make them count.
Mariona Caldente. You can see what she was trying.
Frida Maram there, in a rich vein of form, but ultimately her shot it lacked the power needed to beat Brosnan. And once again, the Ireland international comes out top and is able to save Manam's shot.
That's where the space is.
Everton were always looking dangerous on the break, you know, looking to counter Arsenal. And at such moments, Daphne Van Dansler was once again required to action, parrying in the shot from Snoise and to push it onto the top bar, and Everton could get a corner.
Running from deep. And that's Van Havermeet.
And then Van Havermeet there with a header from the resulting corner that McCabe had to clear off the line. It could have been a goal if McCabe was not there, although the header was not as powerful as you'd expect it to be. But then again, it was a good chance for Everton because it was a good chance. Yeah.
He's eased past. That's in towards Fox.
And then Fox there getting a free header. Okay, not a free header, but it was a good opportunity. It was a good header for her, but she was not able to capitalize it. That has been basically the story of Arsenal's season.
It's slippery and it's not really dealt with. This is Frida Maram.
Manam once again going close there again after a very good Mariona Caldente free kick. Yeah.
Stoppage time coming. And Arsenal pushing hard. This was not the expectation at the Emirates.
Steph Catley with the cross.
To Catley. And here's another sub.
Ford there drawing a save from Brosnan, and Brosnan parries it into the crossbar.
We got what we deserve in terms of the application we put into it, the togetherness, the resilience. So really, super proud of the 1 point. It's a hard place to go.
I mean, to be honest, we have to do what it takes to win this game here today, and that was our fault. WSL is a tough, challenging league. We need to focus on every game, and we have little time, but we need to do our best to recharge, recover, prepare, and then we need to be ready Wednesday night in Munich.
As you can see there, Arsenal really the enemies of their own downfall, the architects of their own downfall. I mean, because they had so many chances in the game. I think they had 21 shots. They had 21 shots in the game, and only 5 were on target. I mean, that's a horrendous number to have. Like, out of 21 shots, only 5 were on target. Wow, that is really damning. That is really damning. So Arsenal there failing to capitalize on playing at home at the Emirates, their second game at home this season, and that was a it was basically, for those of you who have watched Arsenal from last season out, it was basically the story of how they've been playing on since last few seasons, because against low block teams, they always find it very difficult to break them down, because in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, not the opinion of Fantasy Football KE, this is just Papa D speaking. I feel like the way Arsenal are playing, you know, the game is so predictable. Obviously, when you're going to play Arsenal as a slightly low caliber team, like a low tier opposition, and that is in quotes because this is football. Anyone can beat anyone, especially in the WSL. But against these lowly ranked teams, when you're playing Arsenal, first things first, they are going to dominate the position. That one you have to contend with. And so does it happen against Chelsea? Does it happen against when these teams plays against Manchester City and to an extent against Manchester United and Liverpool? Yeah. So these teams usually set up in a low block, and you mean you cannot fault them. They have to play the way they have to play. At the end of the day, they're playing out to get the result, whether it's a win or a draw. Yeah, but for Arsenal, it's the usual same old story. Pass, pass, pass. A lot of extra needless touches and passes. They simply cannot take a chance when the chance is begging to be taken. I mean, I'm not saying that they shoot every time, but then again, you cannot be passing every time when the oppositions are just waiting for you there to be doing that. And then at the end of the day, there's this typical game whereby they just pass, 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 and then they cross the ball. Yeah. Looking at it from that kind of perspective, I mean, you see, Einstein really did define insanity as doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And it looks like Jonas is playing some insanity football. You know, all they do is pass, taking extra touches, not taking chances as they come, not being clinical, and with the few chances that they are able to generate, because rarely do they are they able to generate a good real threat, real threat on goal kind of chances. Those chances are quite and far in between. They're quite few and far in between. And then the other problem is they are not even able to capitalize on those few chances. So you see, Arsenal end up playing a sort of, I will not call it boring, but it is very, very predictable. It is very, very expected. And then they keep on barraging the goal with crosses, especially this. And from the setup of the teams that usually set up in those low block kind of situations, kind of games, those teams usually have tall defenders. They usually have physically able defenders. They usually have players who are good in the air. They can be able to defend. They can be able to defend the balls in the air. So if you keep on crossing, especially when they are just expecting you to keep on crossing, it is just playing up to the strength of the opposition. So that is how things are looking at for Arsenal. Once again, very as a gooner, I'm very disappointed with that draw because, though to be honest, I'm not surprised because looking at last season's performance, Arsenal were just barely able to hack it out against Everton. Yeah, winning one game and drawing that other one, drawing 1-1, and the manner in which they drew that other one, considering they had taken the lead early on through Russo, they basically just threw the game away. In my opinion, they threw the game away, whether willingly or not willingly, but they did throw it away. Yeah. So again, this season is looking like it's the same old Arsenal. And looking from last weekend's performance, the previous game week 2, the one whereby they won narrowly 1-0 against Leicester. I mean, courtesy of a defensive mistake from Leicester and a very, very good performance from Daphne Van Domsla, saving in three clear goal bound opportunities to earn player of the match. So, based on how they played out last time, I mean, it was not a surprise to see them draw against Everton. And for your information, this is the very first time in Everton's history that they are able to get any point at Arsenal. Where Everton have never been able to draw or win any game against Arsenal. It has always been a loss for them when they are going to play Arsenal, whether at the Emirates Stadium or at Meadow Park. It has always been a win for Arsenal. So this is the first time that Everton are getting a point at Arsenal, and I mean, based on how things have been going on, I cannot say I'm surprised. And I'm not I'm not one to paint a gloomy picture ahead, but the way Arsenal have started out this season, they would be lucky to finish in the top four. They would be lucky to finish in the top four. Yeah, unless they change and pull the heart out of the rabbit with their performances, they would be lucky to get in that top four. Anyways, as you can hear from both managers, Brian Sorensen there for Everton, he was kind of pleased, because given that the history that Everton have, as I just told you, he was kind of pleased with the draw, and he was very very pleased with his girls' performances, the togetherness, as he has just said. They were completely together, defending in numbers, being able to protect their goalkeeper, being able to protect their goal, and to be able to rattle Arsenal with the occasional counters. Yeah, and as for Jonas, I mean, as he says, the team has to get in control. The team has to take the chances early on. That is the onus on the team. I mean, we cannot fault the manager for that. We cannot fault the manager for that, because at the end of the day, no matter how much and what he tells them, at the end of the day, the execution is in the pitch, and the players are the ones on the pitch. So something has to change in the Arsenal performances, and let's hope so that they are going to up their game and to get the results in their way, because considering the way the games are going to be coming next weekend, they are going to be facing Chelsea, and then in the midweek, actually today, they are going to be playing Bayern Munich away from home. So I don't know if the game had a bearing in the performances, and in the selection and in the determination of the team, but let's see how they perform today, and then we'll be able to look at it from another angle and see how that one adds up. Yeah. Then again, in the in the other game of the weekend, we had Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Aston Villa at Broadfield Stadium down at the South Coast, and Brighton were looking to come out with a win. They are looking to continue their good start to the season, and let's see how the action went down at the South Coast. Let's see how things were going on down at the South
Brighton
Coast.
had lost their previous three Barclays WSL encounters with Aston Villa, each time under a different manager. Their struggles continued on Saturday as they found themselves behind after just 13 minutes when Rachel Daly converted Kirsty Hansen's cross.
Rachel Daly there with a well taken finish,
However,
a
the
cool
Seagulls
finish.
equalised just
But
75
Brighton,
seconds later when Poppy
mm,
Pattinson's cushion pass found Nikita Paris.
Nikita Paris there, her first game for Brighton, she gets her first goal for the team, and she was a real live wire, and she was able to spot out Bremer,
Picked out Pauline Bremer.
and Bremer, the German international, made no mistake and doubled Brighton's lead.
Shortly after the restart, the visitors had the chance to equalise when Guru Bergstrand found Anna Patten in the box. Rachel Daly made no mistake from the spot, calmly sending Sophie Bagley the wrong way.
Rachel Daly there with 2 goals,
The
a penalty, and a well taken finish.
until Paula Thomas was shown a straight red card for a foul on Kuke Seke, leading to a penalty for Brighton.
Everton receiving a red
One of
card.
the Seagulls' summer signings calmly stepped up to put the
And Fran Kirby from the sports, I mean, 10 out of 10, she'll always put the ball at the back of the net. Fran Kirby restored Brighton's lead.
After being shown a second yellow card for delaying the restart. The eventful encounter was ultimately decided moments later when Michelle Adjuman, on loan from Arsenal, scored her first goal in Brighton colours, securing all 3 points for Dario Vilisic's side.
As you can see, Michelle Adjeman there on loan from Arsenal, getting in her first WSL goal for Brighton. She has already scored in the WSL for Arsenal. Yeah, so this one was her first for Brighton. In her on her loan. She's currently out on a season-long loan at Brighton. And as I was telling you about Brighton, sorry, I have to take a little detour. I have to take a little detour, a little bit. As I was telling you about Brighton, they have quite a good squad, and also under new and a new manager after Powell kind of left in the last summer. So Brighton are looking good. I can say they're looking good, and Brighton, the whole of Brighton as a club, both the men's team, the academy teams, and the women's team, it is looking like a very, very well-run fraternity. They are doing their business as well. They are sporting talents. They are being able to nurture talents, and then I feel that Brighton, within a couple of seasons, maybe 1 or 2 seasons playing on in the top flight in the women's division, they are going to be a very, very formidable force. They are going to be one of those sides that threaten the grain, going against the grain. Yeah. So let's see what the manager had to say about the
Very, very tough.
performances.
We knew their qualities as well.
Dario
Probably,
Vidosic there,
probably not to the level that we
impressed,
would like,
a
but
little bit
when I
impressed with
quickly
the
sort of
game.
reflected and thought back to the week that we've had, and even I felt quite tired this morning, and I've not had to do much in regards to what the girls have done. So, massive compliments to the ladies. It's been a very, very tough week to go to Manchester, come back. We went to Birmingham. I think it's like 20 odd hours we've spent in the bus this week. Got home around 2 a.m. on that trip after Birmingham. So, we knew that we'd be a little bit tired, but we don't want to make excuses. We knew we still had to be ready. When the referee blew that whistle, that we had to play. So, few probably errors that we all quickly addressed. We knew that was the case, but I think still at times we played some really, really good football. Credits.
And Brighton are
Good chances.
looking,
Maybe
they're
missed a
looking
couple,
like
but
a
the ones we
good
got
side.
given, we were
Yeah.
able to
So far so
put
good
them
for
away.
them. Then on the last game of the evening,
Leicester.
okay, a little bit on that Brighton game before we go to the Crystal Palace game. So Brighton beat Aston Villa 4-2. Yeah, and so far I'm thinking that Brighton are going to be a stubborn. They are going to be a stubborn force in the WSL for quite some time if they continue the way they are doing. Yeah, the acquisition to be able to get Nikita Paris from Manchester United, that was a very, very good acquisition. Being able to land a very, very vastly experienced player, and who still had one of her best seasons in the WSL, scoring 16 goals in all competitions last season out for Manchester United. Yeah, that was a very, very good acquisition for Brighton. She's widely traveled, widely experienced, as I've just mentioned. She's played for Arsenal, she's played for Manchester City, she's a Champions League winner with Lyon. She's also played for Manchester United, as I told you, an FA Cup winner with Manchester United. So being able to acquire her was a very, very well taken buy. And also the acquisition of Frank Kirby. I mean, what do I even need to tell you about Frank Kirby? Yeah? 6, 7 time WSL champion with Chelsea, vastly experienced, England's a former PFA WSL player of the season, and actually a Football Writers Award winner. She is vastly experienced and still at the ripe age of 30. And if she can be able to put aside her fitness problems, I mean, she will change this Brighton team for sure. Yeah, and then as I was telling you about the prospects in Michelle Adjeman, and then we had Villanova. There's Bruna Villanova, and the one they bought from Barcelona. I mean, Brighton are looking good. And then of course Kike Seiko, the Japanese international. Remember, she's the first player in the WSL history to score a hat-trick on her debut. It has never been done. Midema has never done that. Samka has never done that. Frankabi has never done that. Bunny Shaw has never done that. I mean, you can see the quality in the team. Those are good prospects. Yeah. So Brighton there were winning their second game to go third in the logins. Yeah, it was a good performance and it was a good outing. They were able to get the results from the game. Yeah.
Had won all
So
four of their previous Barclays WSL
in the
matches against newly
Midlands,
promoted sides, but there was
Leicester
little to separate
City,
them from Crystal
Leicester City
Palace
were
in the cagey first
hosting
half.
Crystal
The
Palace.
deadlock, though, broken in the 55th minute. Annabelle Blanchard netting Palace's first WSL goal.
And what a goal that was from Annabelle Blanchard. It was a very well crafted goal. Yeah,
Things got
the
even
assist
better for
there,
the
the
Eagles when
backheel
Ruby
assist,
Hayes
it was so
fouled
good.
Lexi Potter in the box. The referee with no hesitation pointing to the spot.
Former Arsenal girl Ruby Mace there fouling the Chelsea loanee Lexi Potter, and she is able to earn a penalty for Crystal Palace. And of course, up stepped Annabelle Blanchard and she clinically dispatched the opportunity to send Crystal Palace, to send the Eagles 2-0 up front against the Foxes.
Shot set up to score her.
Yeah,
And Crystal
sending
Palace second of the afternoon.
sending Cop the
Securing
wrong
Eagles'
way
first ever win
and
in the Barclays
to get their
WSL.
first win in the
Obviously, it's a
WSL.
great feeling. We've been working really, really hard in training. Results haven't really gone our way, but each week we've been
improving our performance, and we've been working really, really hard in training. So to see it come out today was the main thing. Obviously, it feels great to get all 3 points today for the group, and after everything they've been through as a team from the start of the finish to now, they really deserved that today. It's going to fill them with confidence, and it was theirs for the taking. And I'm so proud of every single player and staff member involved, because for the club that's huge, and yeah, we're very happy.
As you can hear from Kaminsky, Laura Kaminsky, the Crystal Palace manager, of course, she's very delighted. Being a newly promoted team, it usually is daunting for most newly promoted teams. If you consider Bristol City last season out, they lost almost their first 4 games. They went in like 5 games without a win in their first five games. So for Laura Kaminsky and the Eagles to be able to get in and back that win early, it definitely helps them with the confidence. It helps them to get on track. Having lost out that woeful, big loss in last Friday against Chelsea, losing 7-0. So it was good. It was good for them to be able to get that win. Most importantly, to get that win, and then secondly, to be able to get a clean sheet. So at least it helps out with the goal difference, because they've been on the receiving end of so many goals, losing 4-0 to Tottenham Hotspur on the first day of the league, and then losing their second game to Chelsea 7-0. So you see already they were lagging in a whooping minus 11 goal difference. So for them to be able to at least claw back some way and get that clean sheet and those 2 goals against Leicester City, it just kind of reduces the deficit in their goal difference, and hopefully it can spur them on to some good performances, and maybe continue to go and back the win, because usually it is it's a very daunting task for any newly promoted team, because it's so hard to be able to maintain a stay in the league, especially when you're just coming up from the championship. Yeah, because you remember Crystal Palace. By the way, something most people don't know about Crystal Palace. When they were coming up, they lost most of their players. They lost most of their championship winning players, because most of them were out on loan or were just out on 1 year contract. So you see, they had to do a lot of businesses, and they had to do a lot of business when they were coming up in the league. They have signed so many players on loan as well this season, because the standing of the team, they are not in the same financial positions as the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Manchester United, the likes of Manchester City. So for them, the most important thing was to be able, first of all, to get a squad that can be able to compete, that can be able to complete the season. So far so good for them. It didn't start out well, but they have been able to arrest the drop on game week 3, and it is important, as you can see from the players themselves, with Annabelle Blanchard there speaking on the first instance about that win, and being able to see the work that they've been putting in training finally pay off. It was a good opportunity for them. Yeah, and ultimately, as a lover of the game, as a supporter of the women's game, I'm actually pleased about that, and I'm hoping that they are going to be able to pull those surprises. They are going to be able to pull those performances, and they are going to be able to surprise people. It is not ideal when a newly promoted team immediately is sent back to the championship. So it also doesn't help the other sides in the championship, because it kind of emphasizes that team that they are not good enough for the top flight. So when a team is able to make it and sustain themselves, it is always a good opportunity. So I'm looking forward to Crystal Palace. They have quite a couple of good signings, the likes of Lexi Potter, as I said, from Chelsea. They have Pritchard from Manchester City. All of them, they are not highly experienced in the senior scene, but on the juniors, they have been able to garner a lot of experience, both for club and international, because as you can see, as you all know, most of them, the English lasses, they have been playing in the Euro. They were just playing in the Euro under 17 and the under 19 tournament. So it is good for them. It is good for them that they are now able to get that WSL top flight experience. Yeah, they have quite a couple of good talents there, and I'm hoping we'll be able to see one of them. Also, another one is Brooke Aspin on loan from Chelsea, also the defender. So let's see how they are going to be able to carry themselves and fare out in the big girls league. Yeah. So that is how the WSL weekend was. That is how the WSL weekend was on March day 3. And from there on, the only game that was postponed is the Chelsea versus Manchester United game. Yeah. Saturday, Brighton won 4-2 against Aston Villa. Manchester City won 2-0 on Sunday against West Ham United. Arsenal drew 0-0 at home to Everton. Tottenham Hotspur lost 3-2 at home to Liverpool, while Leicester City were 2-0 losers against Crystal Palace at home. Yeah. So that is how basically the game week 3 of the WSL look like. Yeah. So considering with how things are looking and how things are faring, you guys, who do you think is going to be? I know it's quite a bit early, but who do you think is going to be the winner this time out? Yeah. So far, let me give you how the scope of the table looks like before you give me your predictions. At the top of the table, you have Manchester City having played 3 games, won 2, drawn 1, lost 0. I mean, it's still early. They have a goal difference of 3 and 7 points. Then in second place is Chelsea, a goal difference of 8. So far, the biggest goal difference in the league. Yeah, +8 from Chelsea. Having only played 2 games, I mean, how good are these Chelsea side? How good are they? Yeah, with 6 points. Then 3 sides share 6 points. Chelsea, Brighton and Hove Albion, and Manchester United. Although Chelsea and Manchester United have played a game less. That is the match that they were supposed to play in the weekend, the postponed match. Yeah. Brighton have a goal difference of +5. Manchester United have a goal difference of +4. So that is the key aspect that separates the 2 sides. Yeah. Then in fifth place, we have Liverpool. Liverpool coming in with 5 points, having played 3 games. They have drawn 2. They have won 1. They are yet to lose. Yeah. So Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City so far remaining unbeaten in 3 games. Yeah. So Liverpool have a goal difference of +1 and 5 points. Yeah. Then in sixth place we have Arsenal coming in sixth, having played the same number of games. They actually have the same how do I put it? They have the same match results with Liverpool. Both of them have played 3 games. They have won once, they have drawn twice, and they actually tied on everything. They're tied on points. All of them have 5 points, and all of them have the same goal difference +1. Yeah. Then in seventh place is North London rivals Tottenham Hotspurs, having played 3 games. They've won one, they've lost one, they've drawn one. It's almost perfect for them. It's almost a perfect outing for them. So 3 games there, won one, drawn one, lost one. They have a goal difference of +3, two more than Arsenal and Liverpool, and then they have 4 points. Then on eighth we have Crystal Palace with 3 points. Yeah, and having won one and lost twice. They have the biggest negative goal difference, as I was telling you about, courtesy of those two dismal routing performances on match day 1 and 2. Yeah, so they have -9, and then Aston Villa coming in ninth place with 1 point, having drawn one and lost two. They have -3. Yep, actually, 4 teams are tied on 1 point. That is Aston Villa, Leicester City, West Ham United, and Everton. Yeah, the only difference is the goal difference, with Aston Villa and Leicester City sharing the same amount of goal difference. That is -3 for both of them. Both of them have drawn 1 game and they've lost twice. Yeah, as well as West Ham and Everton, who have both drawn one and lost twice. But now West Ham and Everton, they are tied on the goal difference. All of them have -5. Yeah. So based on how the table is looking like and so far how the games have been played, I want you guys to give us a prediction of how the WSL table will end up, and who do you think? Who are you predicting for lifting the title come May? Yeah, who do you think is going to walk away with the title? Who is going to make it up in the Champions League places? That is position 2 and 3. And finally, who is going to be relegated. At the moment, if the league was to end today, Manchester City will walk away with the title. Sorry, not Manchester City, but Chelsea, by the virtue of not having played that game. Then Manchester United will be finishing in second, and then Manchester City will be finishing in third. Yeah. So, and Everton will be the dropping ball, the ones who will be dropping in the championship. But then again, it's only game week 3, so let's hope and wait and see how it's going to fare about. So that was the weekend, guys. That was how the WSL weekend fared out. And reach out to us. Tell us who was your player of the week. Tell us who you think was the best performer in the week. Tell us what do you think of the of the performances so far. And again, do tell us who you think is going to be winning the WSLs and who is going to be making the Champions League places, as well as who is going to be relegated. Yeah. So that was the WSL week. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend, Manze. I hope you guys have had it fine. So let's look forward to the next weekend. As I told you, this weekend the three English sides are playing in the Champions League. That is Chelsea, Manchester City, and Arsenal. Chelsea yesterday were able to beat Real Madrid 3-2, 3-2 in the Champions League, and I'm going to be giving you a full episode of the Champions League, the Women's Champions League, in a few days' time. I just want to see the complete game week 1 results and how they will go, and then we'll be able to analyze and talk about Champions League football. Yeah, in another episode. So Chelsea were 3-2 winners against Real Madrid. Manchester City are hosting Barcelona tonight, as well as Arsenal traveling to Munich to face reigning champions, back-to-back winners, Bayern München. Yeah, so let's see how they fare out and how they'll be able to look out for the next game week. Remember, in the next game week, Liverpool will be hosting Manchester City, while Tottenham Hotspur will be travelling to Old Trafford to face Manchester United, as Chelsea make the short trip to Emirates Stadium to face Arsenal in the WSL. Yeah, those are the highlights of game week 4 in the WSL, and we hope you guys will be looking forward to it. In the meantime, you guys, it's been a splendid afternoon. It's been a splendid time to be with you guys. I've enjoyed the show, man. Catching up with the girls, seeing the development of the game, and seeing how things are happening. And I hope you guys have also enjoyed it as well. So let's catch you in the next one. And as usual, this has been your boy Papa Deno, Papa Disaster, aka Papa D. Anyways, hope you guys have a fantastic week, and let's see you in the next one. Adios, muchachos. Adios. Oh, before I go, how could I forget? Always have to leave you with the usual quotes. Don't play yourself, always protect your tool. Yeah. Adios, muchachos. Adios. We're out.